G'day guys, Silly Swagman here with another episode of the Alton Edit, and today we have Jordie Hansen, who some of you might recognise from Survivor Australia. How are we going, buddy?
Really good. My hands are so sweaty, mate.
I'm so really sweaty. You know, make you nervous, mate.
You made me really nervous. Well, you've got me in this tiny little cabin. You made me walk for days to get here, and he said, keep your clothes on if you want. And I said, oh, well, that's pretty weird. That's a weird thing to say to someone when they walk in your house.
And the grid with the map and compass instructions?
Worked fine. The little mud map, it was great. It was alarming the amount of like weird objects that you've got stacked around the place. Like, where'd you get this guy?
Outside. Just,
He was your pet.
Yeah.
That was...
but necessity out here.
That's right. It's all about survival.
Pet one day, dinner the next.
No, thanks for having me. I really love what you've done with the place. Was this you? Did you?
Yeah, I'm an artist. Yeah.
Of sorts.
Of sorts. Speaking of survival, mate.
Yes.
Survivor Australia. Not once, but twice. Can you, let's start at the beginning. So how did you find yourself on the trajectory of...
Great question.
...landing on Survivor?
Oh, well, how far back do you want to go? If you want to go, we'll just go to the start.
Go to the start.
Go to the start of Survivor, of the Survivor process. So
okay, yeah.
Literally just apply online.
Yeah.
Like you just go onto the website.
Yeah. As you do.
And this was in 2019, before COVID.
Right. Oh,
and so,
okay,
So I made it through like the first initial process. Like you go and do group interviews and like, you know, all the classic talent agency type stuff. And anyway, and you know, and you're in a room doing group work and you go, hi, my name's Jordie. Tell us a quirky thing about yourself. You know, you think of the weirdest thing about yourself because you're trying to stand out at the time. And then anyway, got through and then COVID hit and so they pushed it back like for almost a year because they couldn't shoot the season.
Yeah, of course.
And then after that, COVID came back and they COVID sort of went away for a bit and they called me and said, all right, we're about to go and shoot. We need you to have your stuff ready to go. You're not 100% locked in, but pack your stuff. You need to be ready to leave in 72 hours.
What?
And I was like, whoa.
That's like the military.
Yeah, dude. It was what? Yeah, literally. It sort of is. Yeah, I guess you can compare my life a lot to that if you want. You said it. But yeah, so then, and then I like 2 weeks goes past and I'm sort of going, you know, still rocking up to my landscaping job every day going, boys, they're going to call me. They said they'll call me. 2 weeks later, they call me and they're like, oh no, we've already left. You're not coming.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like,
no way.
What? Like what? And I was gutted, I was off it. I was like, nah, this is ridiculous. I'll never do this again.
They missed out.
And then they called me like a few months later and said, hey, we're auditioning for the next season. Do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'll come and audition again. Right. Went through the whole audition process again.
All of it?
All of it, start to finish. Wow. Like even the online application, like everything.
Yeah.
And eventually got on. And as it turned out, I was one of the only people on there that didn't like get poached from, you know, like found online or like, oh, you have done this in the past.
Right, who they didn't seek out.
Yeah, I was just the sort of regular Joe Blow.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is cool. I felt like the underdog, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, went and did that and did fairly well, this close. But, then they called me back again the following year and said, do you want to do it? And at this point, I had just met Sam, who was now my fiance, and she had just fallen pregnant, but nobody knew that because it was really early stages, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I should go, like this is pretty heavy. And she ended up basically packing my bag for me and kicked me out the door.
Really?
And said, you'll regret it if you don't do it.
Yeah. So, good on her.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, and now here we are. So
that's Sam Frost, isn't it?
That is.
Bit of a golden child of Australian TV.
Yes, I get it. I'm punching. I understand that. But even she will tell you, she hit me up.
Yeah.
She hit me up.
She slipped in DMs, didn't she?
That's it. Yeah.
We will get to that.
Yeah.
That's going to be 90% of this conversation. No, I'm kidding. You must be like just copping that left, right and centre.
All the time, man. But it's fun. That's sort of how it works.
Yeah.
You sort of get with...
famous person.
Yeah, someone who's really well known, far more well known than you. You're going to get asked questions about it. And that's fair enough.
It's only natural.
Yeah. I'm proud of it.
So you were, you were doing landscaping?
Yep.
Whilst you would... trying to
Yeah,
get a
man.
Survivor and
Yeah, I've been landscaping since I left school. It was never what I wanted to do. It sort of, I mean, I can tell you, out of school, during school, I sort of was. You didn't ask me about this, but I'm telling you anyway.
this is the easiest interview ever.
'Cause I'm just talking. But basically, through school, all I really enjoyed doing was making people laugh. And so I always knew I loved it, being an entertainer. And then also, I still remember Dad rolling up after school with the swags in the back of the ute, and we'd go straight from school. We'd just go away for a few days. And
That's cool.
so that was my life, like growing up outside. We grew up, Dad was a vineyard manager, so we were always travelling around the country and to different rural parts of Australia, and
Wow, okay.
camping in different parts of Australia. And I went to like 7 different schools. So I learnt to make friends in new places pretty quick, and ended up, just enjoying being outside all the time and entertaining people.
Yeah.
And so, I grew up watching people like Steve Irwin.
Yes.
Or listening to Hamish and Andy. I used to fall asleep listening to Hamish and Andy highlights on CD, man.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get into radio at that point.
Right.
I'm trying to explain to you how I got into landscaping.
Yeah.
Long-winded. But so grew up wanting to do radio, and because radio is amazing. It's such a cool platform, such a pure platform that it's rare to find anywhere else these days. The liveness of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, and so then I sort of went and did some work experience at a local radio station in Adelaide. And they said, what do you want to do? I said, I'd like to be on air one day. And they sort of looked at each other like this and went, how's this guy?
Really?
It's going to take you a long time before you can get there. And I was like, ow, man. I'm like 16.
That's not what you want to hear, hey?
Don't say that to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so then I ended up going to WA and went and lived over there straight after school and just worked over there, and came back and met a bloke who teed me up with a job when I got back to South Australia, which was landscaping. I thought, that's sort of creative in a way. I enjoy being creative.
Yeah.
But really, for me, it was sort of a shortcut to making money, and the short way out of pursuing my passions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was
sort of like the safe bet.
That's right. And lazy. There's nothing wrong with landscaping if that's what you want to do.
Of course.
But if it's not what you want to do, and you're just doing it because you can't be bothered doing what you want to do, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So I spent the next 10 years trying to fix that problem.
Yeah, right.
And I'm still, landscaping's been great to fall back on, and I still do every now and then. I like going to help my mates, and we build cool things, and that's great and everything, but it was never my passion,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you said, it's good to have something like that there that you can slip back into when you need to, because everybody's dream and goal, you got to be able to fund it.
That's right. It's not free to live.
Yeah.
As you know, it's as you know very well. I've seen your sort of development of your channel over the last few years, or however since I've been following you, and it's you've done the full Wu-Tang thing, starting from nothing and backing yourself, and you've created this cool thing. Yeah. And now look at you.
That's it,
now
mate.
Look at you.
Yeah, you do. You really do have to just take those risks.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so you're doing the landscaping thing, but you've still got this idea of if you can make something more creative happen, you'll jump at it.
That's it.
And so you've jumped online to do the application process. Did you see an ad, or were you watching another season and you were like, why didn't I apply for this? Or was it something you always wanted to do?
Well, before this, before Survivor even came back, I sort of spent a period of, I can't even remember how long. I ended up going from landscaping to moving to a spot called Kangaroo Island in South Australia. And I ended up studying ecotourism.
Oh, wow.
Because I was at uni online, because I really wanted to get back outdoors and work with people again. I enjoyed working with people, and tourism's an opportunity to get in front of an audience pretty quick. You know what I mean?
They can't go anywhere.
That's right. So I was a quad bike tour guide on Kangaroo Island for a while.
Oh, wow.
And then I was an overnight bus tour guide, like back and forth from South Australia to KI and back, which was really cool. And I really fell in love with tourism and being a tour guide because of the audience. I think what I didn't enjoy is making everyone food. If you're listening and you were ever a part of that, I'm sorry. I just didn't want to serve you. That's such
Just laugh at my jokes and whatever.
Yeah. Find your own food. But then, really loved it. Ended up doing a trip to the APY lands, which is Aboriginal lands in northwestern South Australia.
Yeah.
Go up there a few times, but to work with the artists up there, and I'm very lucky to be able to do that. It's a real privilege. But while I was up there, we were on a little artist camp out where the artists went out to their homeland, and we sort of helped facilitated that. And it's all free. Like, I don't get paid to do it. I just like doing it because I like learning. And met a woman who was also doing the same thing that I was. And I said to her, I've always dreamed of, maybe one day I could start my own tour company. And she's like, get out of town. I want to do the same thing.
Yeah.
She owned a winery in the Adelaide Hills.
Yeah.
So when we got back to Adelaide, straight away we were into planning. We ended up getting a loan, convincing some dude at a pub to give us a loan for 20 grand for this bus. Dude, I was earning stuff all landscaping, trying to run my own landscaping business, and also trying to start a tour bus company. And we ended up making it work. We painted the bus up all like multicolored disco colors. And, yeah, it was pretty cool. And then so we somehow got licensed and we were advertising tours, and it went off. Like, we were like, it was so weird. Like, it was such a weird tour. We were like blindfolding people and driving them through the Adelaide Hills, and it was so much fun, and people seemed to love it. And then bloody COVID, man. Right. And we've got this 20 grand loan for this bus. Like, what do we do now? Like, we're not allowed to take anyone on tours. How am I supposed to entertain anyone? And so we went, here's a loophole. So we took all the seats out the bus and turned it into a podcast studio.
What?
Yeah. Have I ever told you this?
I've never heard this.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Genuine reactions. And we got work in the Northern Territory to help build the Darwin. This sounds so weird.
What is happening?
Yeah. What is my life, dude? It's so weird. Anyway, and so we got work to build the Darwin Festival. So in the Darwin Festival, they build all these bamboo structures. And so I said, I'm a landscaper. Basically, I'm just looking for a sneaky way to travel the country and have a work permit. Yeah. And so we ended up getting work at the festival, but along the way, we interviewed a person from each town as we went up, and each person had to recommend the next person. Right. So we were doing like long form interviews with random, we called it Joe Blow, still online if you want to go and find it. So we turned the bus into a studio and travelled up to Darwin and back interviewing people. And then I realised pretty quick that I was not going to make much money out of this, and it was not, it was really hard, man. Yeah. It's really hard. Yeah. And I was like, oh man, I need to find a different way to do this. I'm fairly impatient. And all this time as well, I was volunteering at a radio station in the Adelaide Hills. So I'm like trying everything, dude, just going, come on, there's got to be something. Anyway, and like doors were just staying closed. You were literally all over the country doing this. Everywhere, dude, yeah. And so then, unfortunately, around that same time, my stepmom got diagnosed with terminal cancer. Right. And she was living with my dad in Melbourne. And I had just ended a long-term relationship and went, I need to get out of here. And so I bailed on the business, gave her my 50% of the business, which I still sort of feel bad about, but she ended up getting to keep the bus, and she did some pretty cool stuff with it anyway. Right. And then I went across to Melbourne, started volunteering at radio stations there, and then this is when Survivor popped up. Right. Yeah. So no doors were opening with radio still. I was like, man, this is killing me. And yeah. And so, but then people go, oh, you did Survivor for like work opportunities. I always tell people, do not do Survivor if you think it's going to open doors. That's not what it's for. It's about the challenge and about the experience and pushing your limits. It's not about exposure, because you don't get it. And I knew that going, I was not doing it for that. And it's, people sort of recognise you a little bit, but it's not like we're going to give you a job because you're on Survivor.
But it's sort of like that show encapsulated an opportunity for you to sort of fulfill a lot of things going on for you, like as a creative outlet. You got to entertain people.
Yeah, that's right.
Make people laugh.
Yeah.
You obviously, with everything that you were going through and your family was going through, it was a good opportunity for you to just like dive into a challenge.
That's right.
And preoccupy your mind. And
that's right. Because until then, we were just watching you, man. Yeah. We would watch you and we'd watch Scotty. I still remember Fee was real sick and we were just sitting there watching you, because it was a nice way for everyone to take our minds off things.
Right.
And
because I obviously know your dad watches the channel. I get comments from that.
Right. Dad loves you. Yeah,
he's a legend.
Yeah, and so that then took me away and went and did that, and it went really well. And then came back, and then my story is very different to anyone else you've had on here. You guys are all like hikers and stuff. I've tried to dress in a way that is like, you guys, I've never worn this shirt before. I just feel like this is what you guys wear. But so then after that, came back and I continued volunteering on radio. And I was applying for jobs online, like trying to get something. And and I had met Sam at this point.
Okay.
And the only opportunity I could get was back in South Australia, in like country SA, where they'd pay me next to nothing to go and live and work out there. I was like, I just met Sam. Like, I don't really want to do that. So instead, Sam and I decided to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And this is when it changed, right?
Right.
So we started what we called Jordie and Sam's Rural Road Trip.
Yep.
Which is where we just travelled around in my old Subi or an old van that we hired and go to these little towns and sort of just have a laugh and have fun. Like, it wasn't always about the travel side of things. A lot of it was just about us having banter and having
vlogging and
just having a laugh. And we'd like challenge each other to do stuff like, I can't even remember, but it was fun. It was entertaining. And then from that, a producer from a production company hit us up and said, would you like to turn the podcast into a TV show?
Right, that's what I was going to get to, okay.
I was like, no way, like this can't be real. And so that was like, we were like, yes, we've done it. We don't have to hustle anymore. I don't have to volunteer on radio. We're not doing podcasts for free anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not how it works. So for like a year after that, like the production team are out there trying to get sponsors for us, because that's the way that TV works when you're just a small show starting up. You can't just go to a network and go, buy my concept. Here's an idea I've had, buy it. It doesn't work like that. So you got to get brand sponsorship on board. And so that took a long time. And I got really impatient and decided I'd go and film it all by myself on YouTube. And so I took the concept to YouTube. And then so we'd start.
So it wasn't the other way around?
No.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, like it's because I get sick of waiting for people.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is a real flaw of mine. But yeah, then we ended up traveling to a lot of little towns, and Sam and I travelled everywhere together. It was a lot of fun, and just like filming ourselves and having a lot of fun with it. My mum was a photographer, and she had an old Canon that she gave me, and I had an old GoPro I was using. And
just making it work.
Yeah, and then so they ended up using that clip and sending it to the network, like a clip of my YouTube, sending it to the network, and that was what sort of got them over the line. Like, dude.
So you were just better off doing that anyway, so that they could see and be like,
that's right.
Oh, we should get this on the network.
That's right. And sometimes you just have to do that, I think.
Oh, you were hustling, mate. You were straight hustling.
Yeah. I remember messaging you, like going, dude, why is this taking so long? What's going on? And there was a period where I was like, I'm actually going to have to keep doing YouTube now, and looking down the barrel of a really long road. Oh, wow, I've got a long way to go.
I mean, that's awesome that it's that you've got it on the network though, and it's all going ahead, and it's been a lot of hard work, obviously, but
Heaps, man.
like
Heaps.
it's going to pay off. And it's really interesting, like hearing all this backstory to your life, because I think everybody who watched Survivor, you're a natural, like, funny bloke. You're a natural entertainer. Like, you have got that underdog vibe. Like, straight from the bat, like, me and my family, or me and mum mostly, are like, yep, Jordie to win kind of thing.
Oh, that's nice.
And so, yeah, it's cool. It's not like, oh, this is all just sort of randomly happened. You've been putting the energy into it. And
yeah, man.
even if Survivor wasn't like the break in terms of like, they went on to provide X, Y, Z after the show.
Yeah.
It led to it.
It
in
definitely
one way
did.
Or another.
Yeah, and so you can never like. I always find you look back on life and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Why did I go down this road? But if you look back on all the weird stuff I've done, it's all sort of formed into this one thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I agree. That's how I look at it too.
It's weird, but it's all worked out. Well, it's still a work in progress, and it's still only a small show, and it's probably like the devil to you guys, eh? Like to YouTubers and that. Oh, look at this guy's on mainstream TV. You know.
It seems like hard work.
Yeah. So we're lucky we had actually, we were still not really locked in. Like, so the network can approve you, but then you need money to go and make that happen. And so we were hooked up with this production company, and we were to go and film it all. That's how we sold it to the network. Like, oh, it's self-filmed, it's cool, it's the new thing. Like, look at YouTube. YouTube's popping off. You could pop off too, you know, bit of that. And so we took that concept, they approved it, but then you need money because we've got to pay the production company and pay for our own time, food, fuel, like everything. And so then it was not really like, we weren't getting any sponsors. I was panicking. Like, I was going, oh my God, there's like a whole year of work like out the window here. What are we going to do? And so then we had this opportunity to go on the morning show.
Yeah.
And I was like, babe, I'm gonna.
I remember this.
Because I had just met you. I'd just seen you again in Sydney.
You're like, I'm thinking of maybe just plugging it.
Yeah.
And I was like, just plug it.
Just do it. You said just do it. And Sam's going, don't do it. We're not locked in. We don't have any sponsors. It might not happen. And I was like, yeah, all right, I won't. And then at the very end, I was like, by the way, Jordie, Sam and Ted's Adventures coming to you soon with the 7 Network. And Sam's just gone, oh, but right. And so I was wigging, man. I walked out of there. I called the lady the wrong name. I actually I know I should remember her name. What's her name? She's on the mornings.
That's okay.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. But I called her Mel, and Mel is not her name. But that's how nervous I was, dude. I was like sweating, going, oh no, everyone's going to see that. What if the show doesn't happen?
Yeah.
Then that night at like 8 p.m, get a call. Windsor Caravans want to sponsor your show. And I was
perfect.
Like, oh, it worked.
That's who you want.
It worked. You just got to just say it out loud. Isn't that what Oprah said? No, what did she say? Secret it? You just got to say it. You got to speak it into existence.
Yeah, 100%.
And it worked.
That's wild.
Lucky.
So when's this all happening? Like, what's the? So that was.
Yeah, so this
what channel was it?
So it's going to be airing on 7 Flicks, which is like 7/4, one of their sub channels.
Yep.
And that'll be airing March 31st. But we sent the first proof off to them, to the 7 Network, and they were emailed back and they were like, "Wow, this is better than we expected." I was like, bit of a backhanded compliment, but that's fine. But they said we're now talking with the main channel and we're going to try and air it on 7 Main as well. So
wow.
Oh, sick. That's pretty cool. Like, you know, even if it doesn't, it's like, oh, well, they liked it enough.
Yeah, we've got something going on there.
Yeah, and you know, since then, like we haven't aired the show yet. Only showed a clip of it recently, but we're getting hit up. So we travel around I haven't even explained what we do.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
We travelled from Sunshine Coast to across the desert, which is a cool part of the world, through that central Queensland area, to Alice Springs, and then down south through Coober Pedy, Udnadada Track to Flinders, down through Adelaide, KI, and then Tasmania, and then back up the east coast. So
was this with Ted in tow at this
With
point?
Ted,
It
yeah,
was,
with the little
yeah.
man. So he was 6 months old at this point, which was pretty
that's
cool.
interesting.
Yeah, through the desert, there were moments, I'm not even going to lie, hopefully Sam doesn't watch this, but I was a bit nervous because I was like, oh, I am the one providing the knowledge and safety at this point in time.
All cool, babe.
Yeah, we're sweet. Don't worry about it. In like days away from anyone, like in the middle of the desert, just with a 6-month-old going, oh God, I hope this car keeps driving. Yeah, it's fine. We were responsible. We were prepared.
Yeah.
I'm not irresponsible. Don't. I can already see the comments. Nah, we were prepared. We had all the safety equipment, but it's definitely nerve-wracking.
Oh, it always is.
Yeah.
Of course.
You're responsible for more than, like, it's okay to do this by yourself, but now you're dragging a family out here. You should probably be ready. But yeah, it's all worked out relatively well.
That's wicked, man. That's unreal.
Yeah.
And I mean, all of this is obviously what you're just born to do, 100%.
Oh, I'd like to think so.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, without a doubt. And so with going back to Survivor, what would, like, because you don't see a lot of, you really just see like the challenges and then like speaking with the alliances and working out the votes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know that you guys are eating rice and beans and you can't be sleeping that well in those shelters. Can you give us more of an insight into like what you guys are actually experiencing daily there?
Yeah, so what you don't see, I suppose, is the hours and hours in between. So like, sure, you go to a challenge and that takes up half a day or less than, and then you come back and you're actually just living there.
Yeah.
You're actually just trying to live. Like, I was lucky. Samoa's a bit different. So season 1, we were up in central Queensland somewhere and there's no food there.
That's right, you were too.
You can't eat. Like, you're catching these tiny little fish and just scraping little bits off.
Wow.
It was awful. Season 2 was a little bit better, but the weather was awful. Like, it was always raining and we couldn't get a fire going, which means you can't cook your rice and beans.
Right.
That was actually awful. Like,
so what are you doing? What are you doing at that point?
Just sitting there, like you're just sitting under a shelter that's not really a shelter, that leaks like a sieve because you're too drained of energy to make anything that works.
And so you're just not eating until you
just
can get the fire going?
But they've got coconuts in Samoa, which was a game changer. 1,300 calories per coconut. So you're just like
smashing
going hard, dude.
Yeah.
But like the first week I lost 6 kilos in 7 days in Samoa.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
See, I feel like this is what, and obviously the show isn't necessarily about that, but because I'm watching the current season at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And like since having a couple conversations with you, I'm like watching the challenges and I'm like, oh, these guys are like, they're dead before they even get to that challenge, because you see them, they look like a bit pathetic on a rope and you're like, as sitting in an armchair, you just got no idea. That's why I wanted to ask you more about that. Because you're just going out there just running off coconuts.
Yeah,
literally.
you're a zombie, man.
Yeah.
Like, and you're not really speaking properly. And you're like hyper emotional as well.
Yeah.
So everything is more intense.
Do you find that certain like personality types work better in those situations?
Yes. You've got to be, the thing I found, the only way I didn't ruin my mental state was by remembering that it's just a game.
Yep.
It's just a game. It's just fun. You're here to have fun. Yep. Whatever else happens outside of that is a bonus.
Yeah.
That was the only way. But you find yourself getting
really
sucked in, man. Like, you get right into it and then it's game over. And you can watch the people like sitting over there, like rocking back and forth like this.
Wow.
Like, and you're going, oh no, you're not okay.
Don't do that.
Yeah, and you're sort of,
that's so funny.
But also because it's a game, you're sort of trying to encourage the psych outs and the freak outs a little bit. Obviously caring for them as a human.
Yeah.
But in a game sense, go home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Get loaded.
So it's this weird like battle of trying to stay over it and not get sucked in.
Yeah.
I got a bit sucked in on the last one. I was pretty emotional, man.
You had more on the line too. There was more to gain.
Yeah, Sam's pregnant with Ted and she's at home with morning sickness, which is all the time sickness. And
like, so hard for you as well.
I was like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? And I realised that I was here. I felt like I was there because that's a cool thing I get to show Ted. like, oi, when you were with mum in mum's belly, I was out here doing this.
Yeah.
Like struggling, you know, survive and, you know, push yourself and push your limits, and you don't always have to be comfortable. You know, it's about, and that's why I like getting Ted on the road. Because, you know, we go some pretty gnarly places that most people I know have never been.
Yeah, as adults.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's important to shape I mean, he's a year old. So what do I know about raising a child? But like to me, and that's how I grew up, was just going to these remote places, no phone reception, basically lost, work it out, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like have fun. Just go and have fun. I remember being with Dad. We were in an old Subaru Forester, and we got to this. We'd been driving for days, not really 100% sure where we were because we had no phone reception, and we'd lost our point on our map. We thought we knew where we were, but we got to this T intersection, and we all sort of just sat there and looked at each other and went, "Have you guys worked out where we are?" And we're like, "Nah." And so we ended up just picking our road, ended up somewhere we had no idea where we were. But it's all the fun of it. Like, you work it out. You'll actually be okay. You're not going to die.
Yeah.
Just have fun with it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so without having done all those different bits and pieces, certain things wouldn't have happened. So, for example, I wouldn't have met you.
Yeah.
Like you reached out to me while I was on the show. Or did I reach out to you? I can't remember.
No, I was literally watching the show, watching you on the show, and I got a message from you on Instagram, and I was like, what is happening?
That's right. Yeah, because I was watching you. Like,
Yeah.
I just loved watching you, and you know, watching someone like you do your passion without reward is so inspiring. Like, you were obviously at that point not getting paid to do that, and you know, and so that's so inspiring for someone like me who's still hustling and still going. Like, it doesn't matter if you're passionate about something, you've got to keep doing it, regardless of the reward. And so, without you, well, for example, I wouldn't be sitting here, would I? If I didn't meet you, I wouldn't be sitting here and talking to you. And so to say thank you for that, I've brought something.
What is this?
As a bit of an ode to you. I recently purchased this for myself.
Oh, it's got a flap.
And I keep the flap on it.
Yes, mate.
As an ode to you, and a recent video, if viewers have probably seen it.
Mate, 100%. Because you can tell what speed he's going when he's got the flap on.
And it's always fast.
Oh, mate.
So this is, out of respect to you, I bought this hat. And so
we're going to go out on another trip and get you sporting this out there.
That's correct. Speaking of, we have been trying to tee something up for a long time. Every time.
We're obviously both just like so busy trying to like make our dreams happen. That's exactly what it is. We just need to meet somewhere in the middle. And
that's right. So you let me know.
So I'll come along in the caravan with you, Sam and Ted, next time.
Yeah, and then I'll sleep in a swag with you.
Yeah. Sounds good, mate. Thanks for sharing your story with everybody.
No, thank you.
And honestly, all the best, because you're doing what you're meant to be doing.
Thanks for having me.
Say hi to Sam and Ted for us.
I will. Thank you.
See you in the bush, mate.
See you in the bush.